Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, man. Hunt the ball. Let's go, family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family.
Hello, football family. Welcome into Week 15 NFL picks. Alec and I are back. Alec is still leading the pack with a record of 108-84. So you should be proud of yourself, young man. What are you sitting there? 24 games over 500. Not bad. I did win last week, though, Alec. I was 10-3 last week. My best week in a while. So doing self back right there.
Yeah, man.
But this week, man, who knows what's going to happen with these games because, unfortunately, COVID is just running through the NFL right now.
Yeah, it is. Ian Rappaport sent out a tweet with the statement from the NFL moments before we started, and we're getting more news about players who just tested positive, etc. And basically, it sounds like the clubs are all going back into protocols very similar to last year with remote meetings, no eating together, masks all the time. And they also changed one of the rules, only one negative test if you are not experiencing symptoms to be eligible to play. So, yeah, I mean, this is with the change to one test, it changes the way we'll have to approach, these games just because anyone can come back basically until the last hour. So everyone that has COVID basically is going to be similar to a game time decision. It seems like,
yeah, exactly.
Unless they have symptoms. If they have symptoms, I guess they're out of it. But if they're asymptomatic, yeah,
because we've seen that plenty with players that aren't symptomatic. They're not sick, but they still have to have those 2 negative tests. And now that's down to 1. So that will help with the availability of some of the players and the predictability of the game. But obviously the situation goes beyond the game. It's tough, but for our purposes this week, obviously the first game we're looking at, there's more than a dozen players and their head coach is out with COVID. So let's jump into it, Alec.
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas is going to Cleveland. Normally Cleveland would be favored in this game, but COVID has just moved the line. The Raiders are now 1.5 point favorites over Cleveland. They said more than a dozen Cleveland Browns plus head coach Stefanski is out of this game with COVID, unless maybe these new rules change. So again, ton of unknown. I'm going with the Raiders in this game though, just because of the COVID situation. Not going to elaborate too much more on that. I mean, the Raiders have something to play for. It's not like they're tanking. So I'm going to go with the Raiders in this matchup just because of how badly the Browns are affected.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's it. I'm going with the Browns here to be resilient and to cover. With the being only 1.5 points, I'm basically saying they're going to win. But we'll see. I mean, maybe I'll get lucky in that little fringe area. But I'm basically thinking the Browns are going to find a way to overcome this. We've seen teams do it in the past where you're like, oh, they're ravaged by COVID. There's no way. And then they were able to piece something together. So maybe there's a way to get some advantage here.
And Baker Mayfield is out. I should have said that setting up the game, but of course Case Keenum is more than capable of filling in for the game, and they still have that rushing attack. So yeah, I forgot to add that at the beginning. But so you're going with the Browns, huh?
Go with the Browns, and also I want to point out it's a Saturday game. We have 2 games on Saturday, including the next one, so less time for people to get healthy and be eligible. So next up, we have Patriots at Colts. To my surprise, the Colts are a 2-point favorite, and that gives it away. I'm going with the Patriots here. I feel like the Patriots could win this game. They've been playing really well, and I know the Colts are coming off bye, which definitely could help this equation. Home, off bye, all great situations for the Colts, but give me the Patriots here to keep it close and take the points.
So last week, Alec, we only disagreed 3 times. This week, we're starting to show off 2 disagreements in a row. I'm taking Indianapolis, man. Yeah. Taking Indianapolis, the bye week was a factor for me, but also the fact that I think physically the Indianapolis Colts are one of the teams that can stand up to the Patriots. Like mano. The Patriots aren't going to go in there and bully the Indianapolis Colts. So I can see Jonathan Taylor having a day like he normally does off the bye week. I'll go ahead. I was a little surprised at the line. I thought the Patriots would be favored, but I'm going to stick with the Colts in this game at home in Indianapolis. So here's a game with a big spread. Finally, we're getting to the Arizona Cardinals coming off that tough loss Monday night against the Rams. Really good game, by the way. They're going to Detroit, and Detroit looking at what's the spread you have on that? 11, Alec?
I have 12.
12. I didn't write it down, but it didn't matter. It's because I circled Arizona really fast. Like Arizona is going to come back, bounce back. They need this game. Detroit plays with a lot of heart, plays over its head. But I think in this particular matchup, I think Arizona is going to win handily. I knew it was double digits. I didn't even write down the spread.
Well, I'll tell you. What's interesting about this line is I placed my bet yesterday and it was 13.5. Now, granted, we got the news that Hopkins is out for the rest of the regular season. I imagine that's what moved it, but I don't think it's going to matter. So similar to you, I took the Cards. I'm still feeling good about it. Next up, we got Panthers at Bills. Bills are an 11-point favorite. That's a lot of points, but the Panthers have been a real sad case for the analytic crowd. So I'm going with the Bills here to cover. Lots of points, obviously, but yeah, I can't get too hyped about the Panthers right now. There's a little glimmer of hope with Cam coming back, and I feel like almost all that's gone at this point.
Yeah, me too. I'm going with the Bills. I'm giving the points. I just don't see, Carolina losing to Atlanta last week. I picked that game correctly. I'm picking the Bills again to win big in this matchup. I don't see how Carolina is able to move the ball. I mean, they have obviously a really good player in DJ Moore. They have some pieces, but it just doesn't fit all together. Cam doesn't look right. One of my favorite players, Cam Newton, is just it's not looking good for him. So going with the Bills in that game. Next game, divisional game with a big spread. The Cowboys are 11-point favorites going to the Giants. I don't have faith in the Giants. I'm picking the Cowboys in this game. And Dak said, they was asked if he was in a slump. He's like, not really. I'm just not playing really well. Tony Pollard returned to practice this week. I believe it should diversify what they like to do. I like the Cowboys to win handily in this game.
Yeah, me too. Cowboys are my pick here. It is good that I guess they're getting a little healthier, but I don't know. I can see this one being sneaky. In general, I think the slate is full of huge swings that you could see a sneaky way of it getting close, even if the game wasn't actually close, like some garbage time touchdown ruining the spread. So I'm sure we're gonna get screwed here somewhere. But
yeah, it happens.
I can't help but just go with the better teams that are like clearly better at this point and just hope that they do their thing. Next up, Washington football team at Eagles. This is one of those matchups where COVID's really taken a toll. Washington football team's trying to field anybody. I heard that their center that they're going to be starting is a model, a literal model.
Well, that's what I used to do for a living. That's amazing, man.
How are your center skills?
Yeah, no, I mean, hey.
Maybe you should suit up.
My center skills are probably better than my modeling application. I'm not sure I'm qualified for either, but yeah, we'll let the people decide on that one.
So the Eagles are 9.5-point favorite. For context, they were 7-point favorites yesterday when I placed my bet. I bet on the Washington football team, so man, give me another 2.5 points. Forget it. Again, this is a huge swing. I think the Eagles have their own issues too, but yeah, I'll just take the Washington football team to keep it close and interesting.
All right, well, I'm grabbing my pen because we're disagreeing on this one. Taking the Eagles -9.5. Jalen Hurts running attack. I could go on about why I think Philly's a slightly better team. I don't think on a regular day they're 9.5 points better than the Washington football team. But I'm going to go ahead and take Philly with a healthy roster and more certainty there. Certainly one I could eat though, man. Like I took a long time picking that game for sure. Tennessee Titans are 1-point favorite at Pittsburgh. Now Pittsburgh's had that 10-day rest, which made me want to pick Pittsburgh, but I'm going with Tennessee. And my reasoning is, Pittsburgh's run defense it looks like they're playing with 10 guys sometimes out there. Devin Bush getting, regressed big time this year after it looked like he started to put things together. Now they're taking him out. They're replacing him with Spillane. Just a lot of uncertainty going on there. And even without Derrick Henry, Tennessee wants to run the ball. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Tennessee, give the 1 point.
I'm going with the Titans here as well, but it was a tough one to pick. I think obviously it's a pick 'em at this point. You're just trying to pick who's going to win the game. I just don't trust the Steelers to be able to execute and finish a game. I think the Titans might even be better coached at this point, which is saying something because I mean the Steelers are well coached too. But I just think the Titans, they've been able to do more with less this year than the Steelers, in my opinion. Jets at Dolphins. Dolphins are a 9.5-point favorite. Give me the Dolphins, even without Waddle. Maybe he'll be able to come back with the COVID rules changing. I don't know, but I like the Dolphins here. The defense is playing really well. The Jets are like historically bad, and they also have their own fair share of issues in the wide receiver core. They're quite limited there just from normal injury, and yeah, I think that's going to impact them. Carter's still in the IR, so taking the Dolphins here with some good confidence.
Yeah, I'm hoping Carter comes back because I might actually need him with all this crazy stuff happening in my fantasy playoffs. But that being said, I could see the Jets getting shut out in this game. I'm taking the Dolphins. I just don't see a lot going on with the Jets. Of course, the Dolphins, despite a little setback, still a hot team overall. They still think they're in it. They're viewing this as a must-win game. They're at home, so all those reasons. Again, these spreads are starting to max out a little bit, but I'm leaning towards the favorites early on here with these picks. Houston going to Jacksonville. Now, when trash plays trash, you pick the points. Is that what you said, Alec?
That's what I say.
So Jacksonville is 3.5-point favorites over the Houston Texans, but I'm not taking the points. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to win by 4 points or more. And the reasoning is, give me my reason. What's my reason?
They fire their cancerous coach and they want to prove something.
There you go. That's what it comes down to. I expect Jacksonville to play the most inspired ball they have all year to prove that they were better than just basically to show Urban Meyer they're better than the way he was treating them. So yeah, going with Jacksonville, man.
Yeah, man, I totally see it. I think they're going to get unleashed as well. I'm basically picking the Texans for no other reason than I already picked them yesterday. I completely get that narrative.
Alec, come on, man.
I mean, I'm just being honest. Like I like to keep consistent with what I actually bet, even if like the lines change or situations change. But I hear you. Yeah, no, I think the Jags, like it could be awesome. It could be really exciting with them just like trying to prove something. But yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks that they might be a little too far gone at this point, but we'll see.
I do think Houston's the better team, Alec. Like if I honestly, we make fun of the bad teams and try to have fun on the show, but like if I just went roster to roster with the coaching, like I feel like Houston is a slightly better team. And their young quarterback, Davis Mills, a 3rd-round pick, people forget, out of Stanford. He's not just some undrafted free agent or something. And you spent a 3rd-round pick on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to make a name for himself. Despite how dysfunctional Houston is, Jacksonville was worse. And, so very interesting game there, man. So what do you got for us next there, Alec?
Got the Falcons at the 49ers. The 49ers are a 9.5-point favorite. Let's lock it in with the 49ers. This is my lock of the week, or at least I think it was. I wanted to go check my bets, but I'm pretty sure I did lock this one in and give it the double treatment. I think the main reason why is the 49ers are playing quite well lately. They seem to have figured things out on both sides of the ball. And the Falcons just again, haven't been that great this year. I know they're having some injury woes as well. So I just think the 49ers here are a good pick.
Me too. And this is a first, Alec. Double lock, bro.
Double lock.
Double lock.
Now
my lock was the 49ers. I see them winning this game big. I really do. Well-oiled machine. George Kittle, the running attack, no matter who they have back there. Deebo Samuel doing his thing. Brandon Ayuk doing his thing. Looks like a really good team. It really does. Like the 49ers could sneak in and surprise some people in this playoff run. I really believe that. So next game, one of the more interesting ones on the slate. Cincinnati at Denver. The Broncos, believe it or not, are 2.5-point favorites, even though Cincinnati's been kind of the better team for most of the year. Tough game to pick, but I'm going with the Bengals in this. I feel like they're the better team. I really do. I feel like with the weapons they have, T. Higgins emerging as a serious threat, and of course you got Chase. Tyler Boyd was very active, and Denver has a good defense, but I see Cincinnati being able to put up the points to beat them. And then on the other side of the ball, I kind of see that being a wash. So I'll take the Bengals in this.
I'm taking the Bengals too. Very surprised that they have points and they're not the favorite here. I think obviously we've seen their back end have some issues on the defense, and you could see how the Broncos could maybe take advantage of it, but I don't trust that they will. Like, I know they have the wide receivers to pull it off, but I don't trust Teddy Bridgewater at this point to be able to execute like that. And like you said, the offensive weapons on the Bengals are like lighting it up, but they're all figuring things out. Uzama's even playing well. Like every top to bottom, they're having success there. So I'm going to take the Bengals as well. Packers at Ravens. The Packers are a 5.5-point favorite. That has slightly gone up since it was 5 yesterday. And I'm going with the Ravens to cover here. I'm not saying that they're going to win this game, but I think they can keep it close. The defense has been playing really well. Nobody's really talking about it in the media, but it's true. Everyone just wants to talk about the fact that the offense has been struggling. I think they're a scrappy team. They're very well coached. And one of the things you might not know, but if you did watch last week, the primetime game, the Packers' special teams is actually really bad. So I could see the Ravens with their actually excellent special teams unit getting some not cheap, but well-earned points in the special teams game to kind of really flip the script. So, there's a way that they can win this game. I'm not projecting that per se, but I definitely think they can keep it close.
Okay, I'm taking the Packers. I'm taking the Packers in this game. I just think that it's going to be hard for the Ravens to keep up with Aaron Rodgers. And it's amazing because I'm studying the Packers this week, and it's really just two guys. It's two guys, man. It's Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. And I look around their offensive line. Bakhtiari hasn't played all year. It's a bunch of late round picks and reaches and guys I didn't like it in the draft. I mean, but that's all they need. And I think the Ravens are going to have a hard time keeping up with the score. I do see a path to victory for the Ravens. It would be running the ball. The Packers gave up a 80-some yard punt return last week. They also gave up a 46-yard end around touchdown, which is something the Ravens do with Duvernay a lot and have been effective with it. The Ravens are going to want to make this ugly game, but I'm not sure that they can do that this week against Aaron Rodgers. Coming to town, the color rush for the Ravens. Next game, Seattle at Los Angeles. Los Angeles Rams are 4.5-point favorites against the Seahawks, and I'm going with the Rams. I struggle with this one a little bit, but the final nail for me was hearing that Tyler Lockett is out for the Seahawks. That's going to hurt them big time. The reason I was thinking about the Seahawks, though, in this game, Alec, was because the Rams emptied their heart out on Monday night. And you see how sometimes that, it's a letdown game the next game. But the Rams at home, they have been playing very good football, or at least Monday night they did. Looks like they have their stuff back together. So I'll go ahead and take the Rams -4.5, say they win by a touchdown here.
I like the Rams as well in this game, but my rationale is a little bit different. I just think the Seahawks, even with Lockett, would have been able to or would not been able to keep up with them. I think they've been a little inconsistent. I know the Rams have been too, but I think just the better team here is the Rams. And now, of course, with Lockett, their team's having some issues. One of my fantasy teams is in shambles. He's like the 5th guy out this week, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to do this? how am I supposed to prevail? But trying to scrap something together there. I got good depth, but you hate to see it when you're the guy trying out all the B-string guys.
And I'm worried that, somebody's going to have to cut somebody, and then somebody's going to pick up like a Tyler Lockett in the finals or something after not having him all year.
Yeah.
Like shenanigans, man. Like, I added an extra IR spot. I have 2 IR spots in my league, but the one league you only get 1. And I'm sitting here like, who the heck am I going to cut if I need somebody to play? And I'm going to end up cutting somebody that's going to be pretty darn good, man.
I was a big advocate, man. I like to spread my propaganda. Like, I was a big advocate for like 5 IRs this year. Everyone was like, "You're crazy. Like, COVID's going to be under control." And I was like, "No, it's not even about that. It's about the fact that people are getting injured like crazy, and you don't want to see that in your league. Like, no one wants to see these good players get cut because of like roster shifts and shenanigans." So I'm a big believer in more IR spots. It's really, really hard to like stash away IR people. Like, no one's really doing that. So I feel like that's not a real thing, and that's why I went with that.
So you heard it from the man right there,
I advocate
bro.
everyone do that because, like, yeah, and the one league that didn't do it, they're regretting it. They like came out and said it. And I'm like, I know, like it's been a bloodbath with all these injuries. So, injuries stink for anybody, teams, players, and fantasy managers, right? So, like, make it a little less worse by giving them an IR spot to like fill in their roster. That's all.
There you go. Advice for you advice of the day.
It's supposed to be fun. Don't make it so like annoying. Anyhow, back to the picks. Saints at Buccaneers. Buccaneers 11-point favorites. Yeah, going with the Bucks. I don't love this one. This is one of the ones I could definitely see going the other way. I'm curious to hear what you think, Jason. But the Buccaneers have been playing quite well. They got the team. Obviously, we saw their lead slip last week, but it was against the Bills, not the Saints. So I'm going with the Bucks.
Going with the Saints.
Yep, I know.
Going with the Saints.
I figured you would. Yep. It's a good line, right? They could lose by 8. There's lots of ways that they can lose and still win in this regard. So
these games always seem to be tough between these two teams, and you got the Sean Payton factor, you got the ball control, Taysom Hill, Kamara factor. You got the fact that the Saints defense is for real, legit. Like, if it's a Super Bowl defense, if they only had some kind of continuity on offense, a quarterback and some receivers, which is funny because so many teams build their team up, or invest opposite. They have everything but a good O-line and can't do anything. The Saints have everything but the skill position players. It's Kamara and, Mark Ingram actually doing a good job. But Ingram's out this week. I'm still taking the Saints. 11 points, way too many for me. I put this at a touchdown game at the most either way. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take the points. Now, another one, Minnesota, -4.5 at Chicago. Now, I'm going to surprise you on this one, Alec. I'm taking the Bears, and I'm taking the 4.5 points. I'm taking them at home. I like what the Bears do as far as running the ball with David Montgomery, Damian Williams, and Khalil Herbert. And I've seen Minnesota have a hard time stopping that. Also, this is a night primetime game for Kirk Cousins. I've seen how a few of those go. I expect the weather to be nasty. Jalen Johnson, very good cornerback, going to be on Justin Jefferson a lot. Maybe he can slow that down. Adam Thielen, don't know his status, but he was looking questionable, hasn't played in a while. So I'm adding up all these factors. I like the Justin Fields scrambles. We saw, it's just a lot of factors working to make me think that this is going to be a close game. So if I'm getting 4.5 points, I'm taking the Bears. I think this is a field goal game.
Yep, me too. That's why I want the Bears. I think they could easily keep it within a field goal. I'm not saying if they're going to win or lose, but they could win this game. I think, it's divisional. Those usually are close. I feel really good about this. Going with the Bears.
So, Alec, we have 15 games on the slate this week. We don't pick the Thursday night game because we released this after Thursday nights. So, man, we disagreed on 6 of the 15. Big disagreement, big swing week. So we both can't nail this week, which always makes me feel a little uneasy because neither one of us are going to look pretty after this is done, man.
Yeah, this is a tough week. Like I told you, I wasn't in love with it, so I could see you being victorious for 2 weeks in a row here.
That would be something, man. I mean, it is my channel, bro. Like I should be doing something over here.
That's true.
Yeah. But Alec, thank you so much for joining me again. A lot of fun. We keep going. Once again, 108 and 84, man. Proud of you. Very proud, man. What do you got to say for yourself?
I try to make my picks exclusively while I go into the bathroom, so I recommend everyone else do that too. Toilet Squad unite.
Good thinking. Yeah, that's your thinking chair. Sit down on his thinking chair and think, man. So, yeah. Were you a Blue's Clues kid or you're too old for that?
Nah, I know about Blue's Clues. Yeah.
No, I mean, were you a kid?
Yeah, I was a kid.
You like Steve and all that?
Yeah,
all right, man. That's your thinking chair then, man. That's your thinking chair. Throne. So no dog coming in, no Roomba coming in.
I know.
I take it it's a peaceful day at the Pollyanna's household, huh?
Yeah, Pixel's been sleeping most of the day, so she's been chilling, and the Roomba has not been engaged. Maybe I'll hit it up after this though.
Nice,
Around
man.
the house.
Is that a Christmas present on I guess a bed behind you?
Yeah, we were wrapping up some presents, but got to clear it all off and get everything ready and situated. We actually have a friend coming in town, which is really exciting for the weekend. So
Nice,
he'll be
nice.
flying in tomorrow.
Well, make sure you behave yourself then, man. And yeah, Saturday night football, guys. Don't forget. I think it starts at 4:30 on Saturday Eastern time. And then a night game after that. That Patriots Colts game. I'm definitely going to be watching that for sure, and hopefully be up for that Vegas and Browns game as well. But thank you to my football family. Thank you to everybody that watches. Alec, say goodbye now.
See you guys.